Hello there, I'm Nerobanks. Welcome back to the Williams Speedrun. We're about to get the season started here by heading into Bahrain. Before we start, rather, we're going to have a quick look on Alpine here, and as I said, how Doohan could potentially, be fun to watch this season. As you can see, the Alpine has arguably the second best car on the grid. They're lacking a little bit in the top speed, but other than that, they are looking really, really good. So, with that said, they aren't too far behind on some of these stats. Well, I don't say too far behind, they're still fairly far behind. So, we'll still be fairly dominant, but I think Doohan could potentially cause some upsets here. Maybe win out against Bahrain at some points, but it's going to be interesting to see for sure. I still think our car is basically competent enough that we don't have to worry too much this season, so we're going to be playing it a bit more relaxed. We're not going to be as try-hardy on strategy. We might try some other strategies and see how, you know, starting on hards and going long works. So yeah, we'll have that in the back of our mind while going on, but let's get on with it. Straight on to Bahrain. I thought since we kind of hyped up Alpine here, we'd have a look at the qualifying. So in this qualifying, I did everything I could. We used the same set of softs to get through Q1, Q2, and then we used the fresh one for Q3, and we still have 2 to spare. And as you can see here, Doohan is 4/10 off Porsche, 6/10 off Piastri. Gasly is still a whole second behind Piastri, but from the Alpine 3-4, you can see that they made a pretty good car here. And it's still weird to see how Leclerc is at Mercedes, Verstappen at Ferrari, Russell at Red Bull, and Ocon too at Mercedes. So the driver market has been wild in this save, but with this we have qualifying done. We see that Alpine should potentially, if they can keep this up, be potentially dominant this year. It's going to be interesting to have a look at. And with that in mind, let's have a quick look here on what we can expect during the race. So this is Bahrain. Degradation is quite high on any tire, really. And as you can see, as a result, the softs degrade. Well, the softs have 8/10 advantage until, they actually completely fall off due to being completely ruined. But they are a very good tire here, so is the mediums. And, well, the mediums are probably better than the hards. Just look at the competitive performance here, the difference in timings, degradation. So soft, medium, soft if possible could be great. Soft, medium, medium could also work, because what I assume here is that everyone is, as you can see, going to be on a 2-stopper. So I'm thinking we maybe do soft, medium, soft, or soft, medium, medium. Medium, soft, medium could also be an option here. So let's go ahead, let's set up the strategy. Piastri can barely make this work. And again, his hards are still messed up on their deltas. So we could try this with Piastri. We could also play it a bit safe here. Have him on softs to start out with. Put him on the mediums towards the end. But actually the degradation is just so high that it's not too much of a difference if we run him on this or if we run him something else. And we can also, of course, just change if there are safety cars, for instance. Now, Porsche does have higher smoothness, so we'll try and run these guys on the same strategy for this year, and we'll see if we can make some more definite guesses when it comes to higher degradation. But it's for sure been a nice addition that actually works properly.
Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Lights out and away we go. Now Doohan actually had a pretty good start here. He's keeping up. So does Gasly. No one really falling behind here. First corner is still wonky. Look at the time loss here. Full second basically, just because that first corner, I want to say bullshit, but weirdness, I guess, is probably the better word for it. And with that, I guess we'll just speed things along here. And as you can see, Doohan is already pulling away from Gasly. And I think he'll actually be out of DRS range for Gasly by the time this first lap is done. Yeah, and he is. Leclerc also outside of the range. Well, Norris now outside the range of Gasly himself. So we have the best car still. Gasly and Doohan in Alpine have the second best car at this point. And we'll have to see what ends up forming towards the back. But for now, we're just going to allow our boys to do their thing. And honestly, I guess having them on the softs actually help here because with increased speed, I think they're having an easier time to overtake. As stupid as that sounds, because they're both on the same tire. But we are going to allow them to work here. We already have 11 seconds. Gasly has been caught up with here. We'll have to see if they can work together to catch his teammate here, Doohan. I saw an Ocon spin. I saw Giovinazzi thing here, a Stroll thing.
Looks like there's been a lockup.
Stroll with a lockup, and I assume Giovinazzi had just a run wide or a spin. Lock up him too. But yeah. I know what you'd expect here. And as you can see, again, I know that I harp on this a lot, but I don't feel this is worth it for just an extra lap. The pace stand will just be too good, but I'm thinking of actually in the McLaren stream. I do stream McLaren every now and again. That we maybe take Piastri in that save, and we save up 20 points, and we test just what effect each driver set actually have. I think that could be fun. First wave of pit stops here happening right now. I assume they're going onto the hards. They are. But no way they'll just last to the end, so I don't know what the players say. And as you can see, we actually have lap times set that are just straight up 2 seconds quicker than the Alpines. So we're gonna get Piastri in this lap onto another set of mediums. And we're gonna get Porsche in next lap, so we'll allow him to fully push once he gets to the pit line here. So that he will be able to easily, hopefully, keep up with Piastri through the go. We'll just delay his pit stop by 1 lap, safe, and then we'll put him on full attack, and we'll also allow him to burn some fuel. And we'll see here if maybe he can overcut Piastri. Probably also allowed him to deploy, but as you can see, even running attack here, the degradation is so high. I think we just barely managed this. Yeah, and even then, as you can see, Piastri gained. So, that's kind of what you'd expect, though. Those tires were pretty old. Gonna have Piastri conserve here, so I can get back up. Now we just speed things along, allow them to do their own little thing. Gasly is down in 6th. As he pitted, he has Russell and Doohan here are both in the mediums. And Doohan still has that gap in 3rd. So we did create a heavily dominant driver, I dare say. But our car is still at the point where
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
it doesn't really matter, honestly, and that is the problem.
Sounds like someone's gone wide there.
I feel like the driver stats might have too much of an influence, potentially. But the car is also quite wild at times.
We've just had a spin.
Danik with a spin. So Aston Martin now has a very interesting lineup with Stanek and Hadjar. But just judging by how things are looking here, they might actually have created a better car this season. They're up into 14th and 17th, and they've also done their pit stops, so that is fairly interesting, in my opinion. Norris is sadly just languishing in that Red Bull. Doohan with a lockup, but he's still 12 seconds ahead of Russell here, basically, so I still think he's okay. We are making our way through the back markers. Porsche is doing well here to keep up with Piastri. And also we're taking our time, which is what we like to see. We do want development points to get his smoothness maxed out ASAP. Pit window has been open for final one. I think we're going to run these mediums completely into the ground though. Just to make it a bit more... a bit easier for us. I'm also wondering if we want to just stretch Chair 2 as much as possible. And see if he can get an advantage over Piastri with basically is a bit more worn, well, a bit fresher softs. So Piastri, we are going to have to pit this lap. He just doesn't have anything left to give. And Pourchaire, we are going to be waiting, but we'll give him attack, we'll give him the push, we'll have him out deploy ERS. We'll see if that is enough to keep him ahead here. We'll not be pitting him. I think we'll go aggressive and we'll see if we can pull 2 more laps out of this. Because that would actually be pretty good. Go back to neutral. We've had
It's a stonking lap.
quartered lap. We now go onto the softs. And we give him full attack. And we still just burn fuel. And we allow Piastri to just do
Boxing this lap.
his normal thing, if you will. As you can see, he's gaining quite a lot, even with all of this on push and on super aggressive. You in here with the lockup? I know what to expect. So, overcut seems to be difficult to pull off, at least in Bahrain. Going to be very, very difficult, especially a 2-lap one.
Can afford to drop back.
But we'll have to see now if Pourchaire can actually be a risk here. Again, I'm slowing down Piastri because we want him to DRS off each other. That's a choice I made. Want them to level when we can. New
That's a
fastest
stonking
lap. And when it comes to testing, we've had a penalty for Stanek. We'll have a look at what happened. Multiple cars have crashed.
There's been contact and several cars involved. Here's the replay. All eyes on Kevin Magnussen here.
I wish I could see Magnussen, but sadly I cannot. But Magnussen, Auger and the Alphas at the back. Kind of disappointing considering their starting point. Doohan is a full minute behind, but Russell is 10 seconds. And Gasly is also finding Leclerc here for 5th, so Alpine has a good car. Doohan is actually doing kind of what we expected here, but we still have far too dominant of a car. Even just focusing on coolness this season might be too much. Yes, you're locked up. Went a bit off. That's just 4 laps remaining. I don't think I'll care too much. Pourchaire gets a
Someone's locked up.
there's potentially a win from that, but that's fairly okay.
Oh, did someone run wide there?
Another 2 running wide, which happens. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise, really.
So 1 more lap.
1 more lap, let's go. Could push for fastest lap, but I don't think we'll have a need.
That's the flag.
There we are. Did we lap everyone except for Doohan? Yeah, we did. And Gasly secured 4th too. This is this was an interesting one for sure. 1-2 for us, which is what we kind of expect. Doohan and Gasly 3rd and 4th, also kind of what was expected, to be fair. Red Bull 5th, Leclerc 6th with well, Red Bull, Mercedes, double Ferrari, double McLaren. And the McLaren's actually beat Norris, which got us sting a bit. But this, in terms of constructors, we still on the good old that only top 6 gains points. So honestly, this is the season I'd like to say see top 10 getting points though. So this is gonna be a bit weird. I mentally was on that point system too when I was going through the results there. But first race done. Let's see how the next ones go. We gained a decent amount of development here too, for both our drivers, as you can see. Really good. 2,200 almost for Pourchaire, 1,800 almost for Piastri, and both of them gaining development points is great, really. We also made almost 5.9 million, so let's see if we can get our piggy bank filled up this season and breach the 350 million mark, maybe, if we're lucky. But now that we are still just going to save Piastri's points here, again, I think I want to, if I can max Muniz, I will. I'm not saying it's a bad stat, I'm just saying it's not high up on my priority list. Let's put points. I put it in wrong. I should put in smoothness, that's my bad. It happens though. We'll get it maxed during this season, no problem. Natalie Michaud. Can we sign? Nope, we cannot sign. The career though has been... Excuse me, you have ran 26 in F3, 27 in F3, 28 in F2. You are 20 years old. You have a history of 3 seasons. Well, 2 seasons technically. And I cannot approach you. Okay. This system is making even less and less sense now. That's a bit sad, honestly. Honestly. Very disappointing. Yodo? I'll have to see it then, because I guess what it's telling me is that she doesn't have completed like full complete seasons, and that might be what is going on. That's the only other thing I could assume here. So let's see, do we have a 22-year-old Vasila we can give a contract to? Really we cannot. Again, lowest rated driver in the game. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait then. Juan Ramirez, we can get him. Mark Rollins, cannot. Gilles Durand, so some we can, but for the most part we cannot. So that's a bit of an interesting one, honestly. See, they're all for the most part in a championship, so I'd expect to potentially be able to pick one of these up sooner or later. We'll have to see. We might just let Behrman go and pick up a different driver, a new gen. Let us continue here before I bore you all to death with nonsense. Let's get going to Saudi Arabia. We'll be setting up our goals here, and of course we're just going to maximize what we... it's what we do at this stage, really. We already have a very, very dominant car. And with that, we're off to Saudi Arabia. We're ready with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Qualified first and second, as you can see here. But it just really makes sense because fastest lap, Piastri has a faster one than Porsche. This was in Q2. Piastri ended up getting held up because I got distracted for a second. But we still managed 1-2. And Alpine is actually closer this track than they were on the previous one. That's interesting to look at. In terms of degradation here, it's well, fairly common. The softs are 3.5 tenths quicker than the mediums. Mediums are 3 tenths quicker than the hards. And degradation makes it so that the medium to hard here is actually very, very viable. It's also just degrade a little bit too quick. You don't have as much of a gain as you'd maybe expect. So what I'm thinking is we do this. We start on the mediums. We run them into the ground. We're going to run them a little bit longer than what is specified here. And again, we're doing this so we can maximize development gain while still having
we're now moments away
decent
from
races.
this, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
Here we go. Piastri in second, Porsche in first. And as you can see, actually a lot of people have actually elected to start on the hards. That could be an interesting one. We'll see if they can turn that into advantage towards the end. Again, I think we are just so quick to begin with that it will not really matter. We're already, well, we're 1.8 seconds ahead of Doohan, and almost twice as much ahead of Gasly. So Doohan is going to have a fairly boring, fairly lonely season, I think, where he's going to be, for the most part, just sitting in third between the between us and the main pack.
It's a stonking lap.
It will be interesting to see if the Ferraris can get their way back up. They still haven't, well, they didn't score last time out, so we'll have to see if they can score here. Currently, though, they are falling kind of back to pack, and Stroll is overtaking Sainz. Porsche has spun and taken damage, though, including a major damage to front wing, minor damage to suspension and chassis. And what I'm thinking we do here is actually we get him into the pits and we pit him onto the hard. And once the hard is gone, we put him onto either soft or medium towards the end. I think that would be the best option here. So Porsche has decided to make things a bit more interesting, but as you can see, he's already running again. And he will probably come out at the all the way at the back. We'll have to see if we can make something out of it even so. Okay, that's actually quite a rough one. Lock up into a spin, then a crash. Is fairly bad, honestly. So when will Porsche come back out here? Will he beat Hadjar? No, he will not. So as I said, we'll have to see what we do. What I'm thinking is, with the damage to chassis and suspension, it's going to be a bit more challenging. But what I'm thinking that we do with Porsche is just we run these hards into the ground, then we go either softs, mediums, or if allowed, a double stint on soft towards the end could also be a thing here. But we'll have to see how Porsche does in terms of climbing back up the field here. Got two people there on the pitting, Stroll and Stanek. And another one pitting, Tsunoda. And we should have a car that is quick enough that he can just power through all of these guys in theory. We might have to give him a bit more power, maybe give him the overtake. And potentially just help him out a bit.
And a new position just gained by
And
Williams.
the second he was given the overtake, he powered through, kind of as expected here. Now it's hunting down Magnussen and Schumacher. And I think it should be a bit easier to just power through a two-man train. As you can see, no real challenge. As I said, we are going to run Piastri here. We're going to switch into aggressive and just run down these mediums here to nothing, basically. Put him full attack and we'll get him into the pits. I'm not actually completely sure where he is on the track, but as I expect, he was just past the pits. So we're good on that count. And he actually comes out behind Doohan after his first pit stop. That's not usually how things go, to be fair. As you can see here, these will not last to the end. So I think we might go, like, burn him out and just go softs or mediums here. But Porsche has made up quite a lot of track here. He is now 19-18 while he's losing out because he's stuck behind Leclerc.
You're doing very good.
And Piastri has already overtaken Doohan and gotten out of the DRS range. Pretty straightforward. Use the superior speed of DRS to just fly past them. And Porsche has done the same thing with Leclerc. Now it has Russell and Ocon in front of him. And we'll have to see, can he make the same thing here, just easily power through? Not on this occasion. Got Ocon though. Can he get Russell? He did. Now it's Hunter and Gasly and then Doohan. But we'll have to see if he actually has the opportunity, because tyres are really going off here for Doohan. And Doohan has actually pitted, came back out in 6th. But everyone in front of him is going to have to pit, and he went onto the mediums. So that should be a fairly straightforward, just one stopper for him. What I would assume. And as things are now, we could push a little bit more aggressively on these hards, use a little bit of fuel, and probably pit for potentially mediums, potentially softs. We'll have to see where we're at here. What we can afford, if you will. Mediums would be no problem. Softs would struggle. If we can make it a couple more laps here, we do it like this. We could go on to the softs to the end And I think we'll do that just to make the strategy a bit more interesting, if you will. So 2 more laps on the hards maybe, running aggressive, and then we'll get him onto the softs. And currently, in terms of lap times, Doohan is quite a lot quicker.
Fastest lap.
So that is also a concern. Go ahead and get Porsche in this lap. I'm going to put him on the fresh soft. We actually saved 2. And I'm thinking that I'm not going to do any more of the qualifying. So we're just going to have to live with scrub softs for races. And that should be okay. We are enough of a... we're not underdog, we're overdog. We have enough of an advantage that we don't really need to. That is why I'll do it both for my sanity, keep things going quick, but also because I want to take the McLaren streams and edit them down a bit, make a highlight reel, if you will, or rather, just edit them down so you can get highlights into for the people who don't enjoy watching streams or didn't have the chance to catch it, and basically allow them to just see what we did without needing to watch the entire thing. Of course, if you enjoyed that thing, feel free. But I know that some people do enjoy watching shortened down stream highlights, so I'll try and get that done. But on the other hand, I should probably focus on some other projects before I do that. So hopefully today I'll also have out a little bit later the video on just how much does your performance suffer from your engine, how you can take advantage of that versus the AI.
That's your last lap, mate. Last lap.
From the last lap here, we will not be able to catch Doohan. This won't happen. We are 1.2 seconds quicker, but we would need a bit more time. We could of course use DRS. We could use everything here, and honestly we'll just give him everything and we'll see how close he can get.
Okay, checkered flag.
We mark it with a lockup, which is kind of what you expect, but still. We were about 4 seconds off there after that spin to get the Doohan 2. Had we gone into the mediums earlier, we probably could have, but it's still an acceptable result, don't get me wrong. Piastri first, Porsche third, Doohan 2 and 4 for Alpine. Them being again the top 4 gives me confidence that they have actually now a fairly dominant car, especially considering Doohan is 14 seconds ahead of Gasly, and Gasly is another 11 seconds ahead of 5th here, which is Ocon and Russell. And with that, I believe we have the exact same point scorers, not the same order, as last race, with a couple of positions moved around. With that, Piastri now takes charge of the championship, with Porsche as third. Doohan and Gasly stay put. Same for Russell. Ocon actually moves up here, so what did I miss? Oh yeah, Leclerc scored last time, not Ocon, so a new driver into the points. Constructors, we have Mercedes and Red Bull now equal. Mercedes moving ahead. But other than that, no change. As you can see, a decent haul here for Porsche. Because of that crash, he actually came out last after his pit stop. So he had to work his way up the field. Piastri didn't get too many points due to, of course, not being able to DRS Porsche. But that's just how things are sometimes. Had a decent chunk of extra change here. And with that, we have the right amount of money. I apologize if my voice sounds weird. I'm a bit stuffy-nosed, so pronunciation might be a bit off, and you have my apologies for that. Rear wing design has been completed. Remember to put it in smoothness this time, bringing Porsche's overall up to 87. And we can manufacture the rear wing, but I don't think we'll put it on the car yet. We'll do it if we get challenged later on with every part that we have developed so far. And we're gonna go straight back to just doing research once we unlock that 17th of April. So what I'm thinking here is we actually not doing any designs there? What has actually happened with what's going on? What have I done? Okay, so we're we're lacking 3 projects. Did I do something silly last time? The preseason, probably. But I think we just wait for the research. As said, it should be okay. Could, of course, develop new designs here. And just do something like this, say. Even this would actually be an upgrade, so... I can imagine how this would work. But I'm thinking we can do designs. We can just focus them completely into... well, run them in tens. And then we'll do research afterwards. We'll still just focus cooling. And again, I'm cheaping a bit out here, if you will. But I feel like it's worth it, honestly. We'll see if we can maximize cooling this season, I guess. And the other thing that has to do with cooling, the front wing. See. Nice cooling. Put everything down. And again, this is quite expensive, the thing we're doing, but I think it would be worth it. We will still, we should still have decent amount of money to play with towards the end, I would assume. Maybe. We're also going to get another engineer on this, so they're now 5. And I'm still just going to allow the usage of ATR period to go, I guess, solely into underfloor. We're going to focus it hard. We're lacking chassis and suspension. I believe we are manufacturing new ones. Except for the suspension, so let's just make a new one there. We could also make parts that aren't 100% focused on cooling to artificially drop us down, so let me know what you think about that. I feel it's a bit too cheesy maybe, but it's an option for sure. If we really feel like it. Confidence check-in, they are very happy. Financial report, don't really care about that. We have a lot of money. And engine cooling, we've actually gone up to 6. But as you see, we're first in everything, but brake cooling is still suffering a bit. It's a shame. In terms of 17 April here, that's when we can start researching. So I guess the sideboard design here will have another one on intense going, I think. We'll have a quick look here in the garage as well to see if we maybe have some other parts that we want to use. So we have a chassis that would be an upgrade on everything actually, even engine cooling. So we could slap this into the car if we want. But now that I guess we'll just run the C1. And if all of them break, we'll go to the C2. Front wing, we are good here as well. Could run a worse one if we want to. Rear wing, we have this one in waiting. It's a bit quicker, not by a lot, but still it's quicker. Side pods, we already have those installed. Underfloor, we have a better one waiting, but we haven't actually installed it, so I guess we will wait until, again, hopefully the AI can catch up with us, because seeing that we actually have an underfloor that we haven't used in waiting is just... It's a bit disappointing to me, honestly, that the AI is still this far behind. We're going to go all out here for performance targets. Fastest lap. With that, I guess we're off to Australia. We're ready for the Australian Grand Prix. As you can see, we qualified 1-2. Piastri and Porsche was pretty close here. 2600s between them. And I believe Doohan is just a couple of tenths behind Porsche. So, could be an interesting one for sure. But I don't want to have too high hopes for AI development. So, softs there are 5 tenths quicker than the mediums, but the grade's super quick. 700s, well, a lap quicker degradation than the mediums, which means that they will not be very competitive for long. And with that, what I'm thinking here is that we will probably not be doing anything with the softs here. We're going to go medium hard, probably a one-stopper, as one could expect here. And Piastri is going to struggle to make it work. So I think we do this. And I think we just do the same for Porsche. Just play it safe. They should still have plenty of time up front. And we'll be excuse me. I will be mainly focusing on just leveling them up, both of them.
Get ready for the Australian Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
Excuse me.
And away we go.
Lights out, away we go. Doohan actually is fighting here from the get-go. So, could mean the Alpine has brought an upgrade or not, but we'll have a look later. For now, Porsche and Piastri do seem like they'll be maybe pulling away here. In terms of tires, pretty much uniform here, just 3 hard runners, the rest all on mediums. And Doohan and Gasly at least are keeping up here. So, we'll have to see if they actually become part of the DRS train or not.
DRS enabled.
It's a stonking lap.
Doohan actually overtook both of them. This could be an interesting one. It is his home race after all, so this is how it develops. I'm looking forward to it. But it's going to mess up a little bit with the development points, but for now I'm allowed to just allow things to continue like this. He is definitely keeping up with us. Excuse me. So Piastri actually kind of pulled away there, but seem like they have reeled him in. And this 3-man DRS train on this track does give me some spooks, because we could very easily have some accidents going here.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Crash on track. Still no
We've just had a crash on the track.
Giovinazzi crash.
Take a look
No
now.
safety car though.
Now look at this. It was the Alpha Tauri driver involved. That crash is
Looks like he
terrible
just
news.
sailed into the wall there. That was a bit of a weird one. Now, is Doohan gonna pit anytime soon? Because what I'm thinking is we get Piastri in this lap, and then we get we could of course also push these mediums a bit longer, but we'll just run normal.
And a new position. Just gained
And we
by
get
Williams.
Porsche in this lap. We'll have him go a bit aggressive though. If he can just make something work. And Doohan actually fell behind there. Did he lock up or something? Also gonna have Piastri slow down a bit here, so that we can get
Seems to have been a lock-up.
Cooper Porsche. Doohan with a lockup, yeah, so that explains why he was suddenly behind. I think we can go back to standard now for Piastri. And there we go, Doohan is pitting. He's out in 4th, out of Gasly. And Ocon still needs to pit. But this is kind of what we'd expect, honestly. We are going to have to slow down Piastri again. See if we can have Porsche catch up. But it was interesting. The little time he actually did keep up with us, Doohan. Now that we are just going to allow the race to continue here. And once again, it's the same 6 teams in the points here, basically. I have to see if Verstappen can challenge Russell. So, guess they've technically done a switcheroo to some degree here. Leclerc, Merc, Russell, Red Bull, Verstappen, Ferrari. Doohan is now 15 seconds behind, Gasly 20. And I'd say it's still looking good. I am considering making some changes to the series is edited, that I'll be cutting down a lot on the dead time, if you will, in races when nothing really interesting happens. So let me know in the comments what you think. Would you prefer that? Do you want the races as a whole, or basically shall we stick with what we currently do,
That's a lockup.
or should I get rid of some of the dead time, or basically anything else that you'd like to see? For now, though, we actually completely missed our pit window. That's on me. So yeah, let me know what you think. Should we, if I should make some changes or not? You're thinking there. So Doohan could actually make those hearts last to the end. That's the thing here. We'll have to see what happens now once Share catches up. I think we're just running normal here to the end. It's just 9 laps to go. Could also burn some fuel, but I'm just happy with letting things go as they are.
And there's an overtake from Williams.
Share
Let's take a
overtakes
closer
Doohan.
look. Now we see the Williams here.
Got the move done pretty cleanly there.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
Looks like it's going to be potentially here. Fight to the finish between the Mercs and Verstappen.
The final lap. You're opening your final lap. Let's check it flag. Check it flag.
Let's have a quick look here. Can Verstappen get points? No. Yes. The end result from that one, sadly. 1-2 from us, 3-4 from Alpine, 5-6 from Mercedes, meaning that they now take a comfortable lead on Red Bull. Ferrari and Red Bull's finishing out what would have been the previous top 10. Driver Championship, Ocon moves up, Verstappen moves up, but yeah, still has no points. Right, you can say that 3 races in. And yeah, with this, Mercedes now had twice the points of Red Bull. We have twice the points of Alpine in second too, which is kind of awkward. Development wise, not as good as could be, but still fairly decent here. We have well, wish I got a better rating for performance, so gets more points from that. But still, we can be happy with how the development went. Decent amount of extra cash here too from sponsors. And our factory has been refurbished, and the manufacturing of the rear wing that we might not use has been completed as well. Side pods design completed, and we now have the regulation mode incoming as well. I do think that what we'll do here is, I don't know if these are the ones we want to manufacture. That's the problem. So for now, what we are going to do is actually start a new sideboard project, design project, where we again maximize cooling. That will be the goal. And I think, again, that is just straight up going to be the goal for this season. We'll try and see just how high we can push cooling in the current climate, current setup. We are fairly dominant. Minor technical changes in terms of cooling or airflow. Honestly, I think if we do airflow, that's what we will vote for, because it'll potentially drag us down a bit and potentially to a better position. We're also going to go ahead and refurbish our memorabilia room. We keep those trophies dust free at any given time, really. And the board is fairly happy with our Australia performance. We will now have a research period open, which means that basically every project forwards will be research projects, and that warning for low chassis is that we still have 4 chassis of a different designation, different design. so we don't really need to worry about that at all. Airman development, he has 2 points here. Split them between cornering and braking. Be okay. And in terms of where we are, we're currently at Emilia Romagna. We do have a new suspension though. We could manufacture it, but we'll have a look at it before we do so. In the warehouse, I believe we have side pods here. These would generally be a upgrade in every aspect, as you can see, but particularly in the cooling one. And suspension here would actually be detrimental, but an upgrade in cooling. So we'll see what we do. Again, give me some ideas on what we want to do for the rest of the season, really. For now, we are going to be getting that research project started, first and foremost. And as I said, I think I'm going to allow myself to... It looks like the airflow changes went through. I must have skipped that somewhere. But I am going to allow myself to put ATR into the underfloor, because I want to see just how high we can actually push this thing at the same time. Can we, at one point, get a season where only upgrading the underfloor will be enough? Of course, that would require us to get a pretty harsh hit to the other thing. So as you can see, we're actually getting to the point where we're plateauing a bit. Around the 80% mark. Well, we're 77%, but we're getting less than 1% here. And that is with the full ATR allocation. We say focus everything into drag reduction. We'd be getting 2%. So with that, I guess the first thing we'll do here is cancel out the negative repercussions from the directive. And as you can see, this would be 18% almost. And we still gain a percentage in these. Still gain a percentage here. We gain 0.36, so this could actually be a rounding error, but we are getting a little bit there. Put the engineers on it, get it started, and that's that with the underfloor. So, car part research unlocked. Let's have a quick. We didn't actually have a look at this. So, Ferrari, McLaren, Alpine, and Alfa Romeo voted against, but we got airflow focus changes. And with that, we can set up now performance targets for our next race. And once again, we're just going to maximize them because we're just that dominant, honestly. Both drivers 1-2. We could fail that one. We already have once this season. So, but I doubt it. Let's go to Emilia Romagna. Welcome to Emilia Romagna. We qualified 1-2 as expected. Piastri was 9/10 ahead of Doohan in third. Porsche was not at that. He was a bit closer to Doohan. I think it was a half second behind Piastri, even so 4/10. Expected strategies are one stop or, you know, two stopper with mediums and softs. In terms of performance here, the softs and mediums are fairly equal, but as you can see, in terms of degradation, it's not really worth. You could do soft, medium, medium, of course, but I'm thinking we do the good old, we start on hards, and then we go softs at the, well, mediums or softs at the end. We'll have to consider it as we go, but I think doing mediums here is probably better than doing soft just straight up. So we'll do something like this maybe, and car pitting here on lap, what is that, 37? And we'll just copy that strategy for Porsche here, and that should be okay. Just making things easy for ourselves, and gaining development point is the goal here.
All eyes are on the race here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
That was really quick lights out, in all honesty.
That's a good overtake from Alpine.
So Doohan has already gotten Porsche. They also started on hards. Well, Doohan did. Gasly did mediums. That's a bit interesting. Doohan is falling away from Piastri, but
Use DRS.
Porsche is kind of stuck behind him, so he too is losing out as a result. I'm thinking we slow Piastri down here, and
Okay,
worst case
back
scenario
off.
here, we
Yeah.
end up taking, you know, the Alpines with us for the ride. but
And a new position,
we want
just
them
gained
to
by Williams.
potentially DRS each other. That's the whole point. So
Alpine just advanced.
if the Alpines end up in the mix, it's not optimal, but it's acceptable. It's probably the best way I can describe it.
It's a stonking lap.
So you can see even against our own car, the speed difference under DRS. Because they are running equal cars. It's like we are leaving behind, well, we were, now we aren't anymore, leaving behind the Alpines, but this is going to help them a lot against the Ferraris in this case. The longer they stay with us, the better for them. Porsche and Piastri aren't playing as much of a pushing back and forth as I was hoping for. We could micromanage it again to just make them do it constantly, but we don't need to, so we will not. I guess Porsche is doing a decent job though defending against Doohan. Schumacher first to pit. Porsche has actually overtaken Piastri, so a little bit of switching going. Not a lot, but still what you'd expect. And again here I want to just pose the question. Oh. Well, Porsche ran wide, but he's still okay. So no big question there. Big problem, no question. I'm being a Ferrari strategist here for a second. But what I was going to say is, I'll ask again, and this is particularly in terms of this series Williams. Would you like for me to cut out some of the more, well, dead time during races? Or are we basically just waiting for things to happen? Or do you want the races in their entirety? And again, if you,
there's a big crash.
please, if you enjoy it as it currently is for this one, please say it in the comments. If you would like to see some changes where we cut out more of the dead time, please go ahead and let me know.
Watch this. The Alfa Romeo involved in this one. A definite collision there.
Ooh, that's a classic here, but still looks pretty bad. I'm actually surprised he kept it running.
Someone's run wide.
So we still have 12 laps until our pit window. Gasly is pitting now, medium runner, and as you can see, Doohan has pretty bad degradation even compared to Piastri, but even then it's just 5% difference between him and Porsche after almost 30 laps. And they have fairly full lap times. Piastri locked up. He's actually far out into the nether, if you will. I'm just happy he didn't sail into the wall there. That could be... that was an option, or rather a potential thing that could have happened. I don't know why I'm so stiff today. Sorry about that. I am not at 100%, unfortunately. So we'll have to see if Piastri can actually make a move, catch back up with them. It just looks like he is gaining by, well, they actually had identical times, so in this case just 200s, which isn't really enough. What we can do here for Piastri is have him go aggressive, and have him push fuel, and we'll see if that allows him to catch up a bit more, really. And with that, he's already gained a second. No, not a second. Sorry, that's me being silly. Gained a second on Doohan, but just 4/10 on Porsche. And Doohan has actually been kind of dislodged here. So what I'm thinking is we just go attack. We get Piastri in a bit earlier. And we'll see if we can make a move on Porsche. We're basically going for the undercut. We'll have to see if the time gained will be enough here for Piastri to catch up. We'll still just run balance, and we'll be pitting Porsche here at this lap. And we'll see just how different it is. I'm still going to just run it on normal, out of curiosity here.
Seems to have been a lockup.
You're doing very good. Lap time are good. Lap time are good.
They are 2.5 seconds off each other. So Piastri definitely gained with that pit stop a lap earlier. But of course, we did also push his fuel and his tires. That probably also did help. Now, Doohan is going to have to pit at some point. So as long as we are close to him, we don't need to be too concerned. But this might be a... this might straight up for Doohan be a hard to soft strategy. A bit of a rough one to guess, if you will. We are starting to make our work through the back markers here. Schumacher up next. And that's kind of what we're expecting. Now, I am considering streaming tonight, but with me not being in tip-top shape, as you can probably hear, I'm thinking that we do it tomorrow at Wednesday. That was when we will be streaming. And maybe either Thursday or Friday. We're going to have to consider which one of those would be best. We might even do all three, but sadly no stream today. I'm just not up to it. And I can't guarantee there to be a stream on Wednesday, but I will aim for it. And if I feel worse later today, I'll just cancel it, unfortunately. But that's just how we're going to have to do things.
We're just watching the Red Bull. And that's an off, and a big off.
Think you are a little bit too early there on your commentating, my man. Didn't know you were psychic. But yeah, this looks to be already done and dusted. And Doohan and Gasly just 4 or 5 seconds apart. And then they have a whole pit stop down to 5th. Just a bit too much, honestly. And still we have Heinz here potentially also scoring points if he can keep this going. He does have the soft tires though, and they do the grade rather quickly here. Same for Doohan. He might actually get in trouble, worst case scenario. Heinz though, I don't think Leclerc is going to catch up to him on 3 laps, so he should be safe in the points unless he has an accident here and crashes, basically.
Last lap.
Lead driver last lap. Pretty good.
That's the flag.
There we are. 1-2 for us. 3-4 for Alpine. Sainz getting on the scoreboard. And Ocon scoring points for Mercedes. So, fairly straightforward race. Not too much happening. But if we just keep on not upgrading, the Alpines might actually give us a fight towards the end of the season, which is what I'm hoping will actually happen here. And once again, it's kind of a crapshoot, really. Verstappen once again outside the points. Driver Championship here, we have Sainz moving up due to him finally scoring some points. And in terms of constructors, we have Williams at the top, of course, but no real changes. Ferrari scoring their first points this season. I didn't actually notice, but Porsche won. That's on me. So, potentially we could also have a bit of a fight between these two towards the end, which is something I'm looking forward to. Porsche has also gotten all the fastest laps, so I guess this Muniz does benefit on that aspect. In terms of development, we gained a decent amount. Once again, I believe Gasly only had a good race, while Porsche had a exceptional one, so he's getting a bit more points due to that. We made a decent amount of extra money here though. We had the qualified position streak. That's the one that we do not control. It gave us a lot extra for doing a challenge for 4 races in a row. I didn't even check what it was, to be honest, but we gained a fair amount of extra money here with almost 6.9 million total. Chassis design has been completed, and again, we will not start the manufacturing of it. There's just no point. Gasly is starting to get a fair amount of development points available here, but once again, we will not be using them. So let's go ahead, run project, and we're going to be starting a research project. I just went to the wrong button. And I guess we are going to be doing, we could be doing rear wing here to the airflow, but I think we're just going to be using our wind tunnel hours basically to correct that. It should be okay. Airflow middle, engine cooling. We are still going to try and correct that while it's still focusing on cooling. So this is going to be the way we do things. We do want to maintain, which I know is backwards considering that I want a challenge, but I feel that that should just be a priority. Another point of smoothness here for Porsche, bring him up to 97, 3 to go. And we do also have a new ATR period starting here, so we're probably going to put that into the wing. I really wish it wouldn't urge me to get chassis, but we can either switch or we can do something else. So this one is still quicker, as you can see. Not as quick as this one, but it would give us a bit to play with. Chassis is just 75,000 though, so we'll make one just to stop that warning from popping up, I guess. Refurbishment of the hospitality area has been completed. And we also have development here for our staff. Honestly, kind of forget about them. So we should probably get into this a bit sooner. I think we could just do... It's a bit rough one. Let's do DRS Delta. Let's get airflow management going. We'll probably do some airflow sensitivity too. But cooling is probably the one that we will not be messing too much with. Back also has a point. We're going to be working on the front wing now. We have maximized rear, maximized underfloor. Going to do front and then probably suspension. Feedback is what we're going to be investing into our race engineers now. They did max pit crew. So that Jago becomes 84 overall. And do we want to switch what our pit crew is currently practicing? We could change it to tire changes, honestly. It's currently our lowest stat. And as I said, wing adjustments we're just going to completely ignore. I know that we do suffer when we do crash, but again, it's not a huge concern for me, honestly. We're also going to quickly set up the performance targets here. They should be fairly okay. We are. Last lap, everything ready. And with that, I guess we're off to Miami. Or we're actually not. In my weekend state, as you might call it, I forgot that we've already done the first 4 races. Miami is 5th. Means we're going to be ending this first episode here of this season. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And I'd like to give a big thanks to all of my members and everyone who's been very kind and donated both time and money to help me out. I have a Discord ongoing right now, which you feel free to join if you want to. It's currently small, but we're trying to build it up. And yeah, if you have enjoyed, again, please like, subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And again, a big thanks to the members. See you next time. Bye bye.